Hello everyone, I'm Dr. S. Manasa, Assistant Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. So I'm going to talk about the education for women's development. So what kind of the education that can be given so as to develop the women empowerment? So there are different types of educations. One is formal, non-formal, and informal education. So all these three in a structured way will contribute to the development of the woman and empowering her so as to make her in a equal to us have the equality in the gender based discrimination. So coming to the formal education, so formal education is nothing but the structured learning that is typically takes place in an education or the training institute, which is usually have the set of curriculum and carries some credentials like the grades or the marks and then degrees. So this is called the formal education. Then coming to the next type of education is non-formal education. So learning that is organized by the educational institutions, but they are not credentials. So that kind of education is called the non-formal education. So the non-formal learning opportunities may be provided in the workplace as well as through the activities of society organizations and the groups, so that we learn during the workplace where we have to carry some courses so as to get the knowledge about the particular work we are doing, or by the civil society or the organizations or the groups so which do not carry any credentials. So this is called the non-formal education. And coming to the next type of the education is the informal education. So, what is informal education? Is learning that goes on all the time, resulting from daily activities related to the work, family, community, or the leisure. So, it is with the discussions or the activities that we do with the family or the community or the leisure time we spend to learn some kind of information that we get, that is called the informal education. So coming to the non-formal education is non-formal education is organized, even if it is only loosely organized also, but it is organized may or may not be guided by the formal curriculum because it do not have any kind of curriculum or the syllabus or the topic or the grades standards, but the education that we get is it has some organized output. So this type of education may be led by the qualified teacher or by a leader with more experience. So having some known experienced person who teaches us to do, or it can be by some teacher. So this is the non-formal. Though it doesn't result in a formal degree or the diploma, non-formal education is highly enriching and builds the individual's skills and the capacity. Though it do not give any degree or the qualification, like I have qualified this degree, but it gives the knowledge, or it builds up the self individual capabilities as well as the skills, and then your own the innovations will come out. So it is building up you with the help of a guide or the mentor or the teacher. Continuing education courses are the examples for the for adults. So mm, the girls guide and boys scouts are an examples for the children. So the girl guides will be their guides and the boy scouts. So these are the examples of the non-formal educators. It is often considered to be more engaging as the learner is interested in driving the force behind their participation. So because it is more of learners out of learners encouragement or own interest it is coming. So it is like more knowledge gaining the path where because unlike like when teachers says and then students listen, but it is someone is coming out of their own interest to learn particular thing from a experienced person or the mentor or the teacher. So it is from the own, hence it take out all the energy and it is like more knowledge gaining process. The non-learning, non-formal learning activities are frequently based on private initiatives by mostly by non-governmental organizations known as NGOs. So many of the NGOs do carry this kind of non-formal educations mainly for the women, so as to encourage their skills as well as the make them some output so that they can carry some their own business or the work. So non-formal adult education comprises of independent non-formal education activity that such as evening schools and voluntary activities, like people will go to them and then teach, and they have evening school so that many of the female candidates are free, becoming free in the evening, and then they go to schools and and university extension courses or day folk high schools, as well as private independent boarding schools, so like folk high schools and home economic schools, arts craft schools, and continuation schools, like in your free time or whenever you are free. So there are private courses offering institutions, so you can go in your free time for some time, like you need not to spend the complete time of your work day because you will be busy with some other work. So it is like some private organizations also can avail this kind of courses and then make you to get the knowledge about these things. And in many developing and underdeveloped countries, education of a woman or the girl poses a serious problem because many women are lacking behind their education in the primary level. More amount of dropout girls because of the superstition in a belief that supernatural influence. It is like if you go for the higher education, this will happen, that will happen. So some kind of the the supernatural influences, or like the elders, like in our this family tradition, this education is till this much, so no girl is allowed out to go for the higher education. So such kind of the obstacles are there for the women, and believe that the girls need no education as boys, and they have the discriminatory attitude that girls should learn the things that can be done at the home, and the boys should go for the higher education. This kind of the belief that the family members also has, that is coming from the ancestors. So both factors are go to add to the seriousness of the problem, because of this it is continuing till the generations, and then so many girls are becoming the uneducated or illiterate girls, and they don't know the education knowledge, and the illiteracy rate of the women in a country is becoming high. In India, it is believed that the place of a woman is to sit at home, and even if they work outside the fields or the factories or in the office, they are less paid compared to the men. So because they are treated undertreated than the men, and then though they are able to carry out the both works, but the pay is less in the Indian countries. So though the attitude is changing of the late, it has not eradicated the problem of illiteracy, but which is greater among the girls and women when compared to the boys and the men. So though this attitude is becoming changing, but still this complete problem of illiteracy has not gone, but still it is continuing. So the ratio of the girl or the woman going to the education is less when compared to the boys or the men adults. So this is another area which falls within the scope of adult education and non-formal education. So that is mentioned as NFE, the adult education and the non-formal education. So this is a scope where non-formal education can be taken, and then so that they will get the knowledge at their free time or they spend very less time. Only adult education, non-formal education system can meet these challenges. And then the government of India, through 5-year plans, has made a special effort to the improve the literacy as well as adult education and especially women's educations, particularly in the rural areas, because many of the rural women are having a very less minimal knowledge. Also they are mostly they are not at all literated, because they will not allow to go to the schools or they stop the education at very low age. So the women's education is encouraged highly by this government of India, and then at the rural place very especially. And this plan observed that adult education is an integral part of the revised minimum need program. So that to be taken place. So this is a compulsory. This is like a some need that should be taken care, because to reach the poor people directly and to implement it through a coordination with the other departments, and also to make it is an essential facet of planning. So it has become integral part of the revised minimum need program. And government of India, through this 5 years plan, it has put a special effort to educate the women. And ignorance and superstition are very high among the women. So these things have to be eradicated first and encourage them to go to the education, either it is a formal or the informal or non-formal. And non-formal education, removing these and widen their mental horizon to develop the social productive skills, because they are in the superstition or the some supernatural belief they have. So first of all, this non-formal education motivates the woman to remove all these kind of the mindset, and then develop the social productive skills through the better use of their leisure, because they are taking spending their time only in their leisure time, which is leading to become a self employer and some gainful employment outside the home. So some people will be able to keep their own employment, and then some people will be together working, and then go for some small employment, and then they gain some money. So social desirability is seen in developing correct social values, attitudes as well as habits. Condemning exploitation of the children and women and promoting the literacy are the socially desirable virtues. So these things to be are the part of the social desirable virtues. First of all, make the promote the literacy of women, and then their women exploitation or the children exploitation to be condemned, and then non-formal education contents for self-development promotes social desirable values, attitudes, and then practices what to be done and what not to be done. And it gives an encouragement that you can have some your own business, small kind of things. So that way the people are encouraged and have the positiveness to learn this non-formal education. So what is the importance of coming, this is a non-formal education, how it is given. So it can be any kind of vocational training, and then encourage them for the this non-formal kind of education. So let us see what kind of vocational trainings can be there. So what is their importance in gaining the knowledge as well as to have the income generation, because they can be self-employed and independent, especially for the women. So education training are essential components of any strategy to improve the agriculture, non-farm productivity, and rural incomes. So as to get educated as well as get trained, and then they will improve the the productivity can be improved in their work, as well as many people showing interest towards the work can be there, and all over it increases the rural income, and in terms the country's income. So learning about the improved production technologies, methods, and new products and markets, business skills, as well as the life skills such as health management, decision making, and then self confidence and conflict management. So all these can be improved. So without knowledge, if you are doing some work, and when you are little trained, tuned in a way that how if you are doing some agricultural work, and how can you market them very successfully, and so that you will get more income, because instead of traditionally sending or to the market or review, and some other will sell your product and then get the high gain, but if you are tuned or educated little, and have some skills, then how you yourself can sell your product, so that you will get that money. So this is what the vocational training or the non-informal education is given. So it can make a big difference for many rural poor, particularly the women candidates. So because they know what is happening when they start selling their own products, and then if you are believing someone else, and then knowing that he will give whatever you sell to him. So but when you start your own making business, or marketing the things that you made, or that you grew up in your agricultural field, so that carries a very big difference, and they know what is happening as well as, and then their poverty or the income source has been improved. Women often have different training needs than men, since they are more likely to work as contributing family workers and subsistence farmers, homemade micro entrepreneurs, and low paid seasonal labors, in addition to handle their home and their domestic work at home, as well as to carry the responsibilities, caring responsibilities of the family. So apart from taking these, they have to get trained in the small things, to like small contribution to their farms, and then they can be have some small business, and they become micro entrepreneurs, and then they can be some part-time kind of labors, for hours they can go and get some money, apart from taking care of home things, and about the children and the family as well. Even though within the agriculture, the gender division of labor for managing or undertaking a specific task in crop, livestock, as well as fish production and processing. This generates a different technical and managerial training, so that needs women and men as well. So both the things should be, so both men and should be women, to be carried out the proper training, and so because there is a division of labor for some particular things, where like heavy the load works that women cannot do, and some particular things only women can take care. So this kind of things are there in the agriculture. The self-employed women are not regarded as the entrepreneur in many rural communities, and thus have a difficulty in accessing the entrepreneurship development trainings and services. So, because they are not recognized that they are entrepreneurs, but hence they have the problem in accessing their training towards the entrepreneurship and the services. The environmental degradation and climate change pose threats to the subsistence farming, and call for new technologies and alternative crops growing processes which demands new skills. So, for example, you are growing some crop, and then you have some problem with the climate, or the farming some pesticide or some pest problem and all. So if you are educated, that you will know what are can be other techniques, or alternative crops can be chooses, and so that requires new skills. Hence, you need to be trained in order to carry the traditional the systems also. So it is said that climate change affect the women and men differently, and their skill needs to be made as also different. So because the it is effective of both men and women, and they have both different effects. So they have to be have the different skills so as to tolerate these climate changes in the agricultural fields. Skill development is a key to improve household productivity and employability, as well as income earning opportunity for the women, and also enhancing food security, promoting environmentally sustainable rural development, as well as the livelihoods of the things. So the skill should be trained, or the people should be tuned towards the skill development, because it need to have the good productivity, as well as their own self-employment, and they have environmental so unless you are educated of the skill, you don't know what is environmental friendly, or how your product is affecting. So that's those things you should be trained well. So vocational training and vocational education and training VET is an important, as it enriches a person life, and it provides competencies which are necessary in a democratic center society. So women, especially in their free time, so as to improve their skills, though they are carrying out this traditional agriculture or the rural kind of work, but the skilled person can do it in a special way. So hence, at least that some time to be spent in training them. So these are the non-formal education, or the importance of the non-formal education and the vocational training, in order to they improve these skills and make them entrepreneurs, and then have a small business, and they can start giving the employment to some other things. So this is the about the importance of the non-formal education, as well as the vocational training for women empowerment. So these are the references, and then thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.